Hi. Welcome to my recap of Nintendo's E3 2019 Direct, which this is sure to be a disaster. The Direct started off with the unveiling of the new Smash DLC character, which is the Dragon Quest hero, which is kind of predictable because we thought that there would be something like that. And one of the surprising things is that there's going to be like 4 iterations of it, which I think are the skins. The default costume looks like the Dragon Quest 11 hero, but I noticed that there's a Dragon Quest 8 character with his little mouse Munchie. I loved Dragon Quest 8 on PS2, and it's cool that his mouse is back. Munchie's pretty cool. And it was getting to the point where it made so much sense to start unveiling a lot of Smash Bros. Characters because all the characters are due out by next spring, I believe. So Dragon Quest Hero is the next one. That's pretty good. After that, Doug Bowser made his introduction. As you know, Reggie retired, which is sad. But Doug Bowser's entrance was adorable with regular Bowser with his tie. And they say, oh, we get mixed up a lot. I thought that was pretty great. It was pretty freaking cute and adorable. I love Doug Bowser already. The only thing that would have made it better if a cartoon Doug would have been there. Next up, we saw more of Luigi's Mansion 3 for the first time since this unveiling. They showed new abilities like Slam, they showed Yigatagan. The biggest new thing they showed for Luigi's Mansion is probably the Gooigi feature, where you could split into another Luigi that's made out of green goo. And it kind of reminds me of like Pikmin 2, Pikmin 3, where you could separate the pilots and do different things, but there are specific things only Gooigi can do, like walk across spikes or slip through a prison cell type of thing. Also, the Scare Scraper is back, which was a big, really enjoyable feature from Dark Moon. I know a lot of people loved it. And it looked like a few players could play it. I don't know if 4 players could play it, and they could all have the Gooigi form, so there'd be 8 Luigis technically on. I'm not sure. I'm sure they'll unveil more soon. After that, they showed a brief glimpse of the Netflix Dark Crystal game. Netflix is kind of getting more into the video game industry, because I know they have Stranger Things Season 3 in game form. So we'll see how that turns out. Link's Awakening continues to look amazing. I love the art style. I know that a lot of people are pretty divided on it, but I think it looks adorable and kind of perfect for the atmosphere of the game. One thing that really stood out to me was the music. I know that in the unveiling, I think they had the Telltale Heights. The music seems really, really orchestrated and really nice. I know going into this we were thinking, what new features are they going to add? Because in the DX version they added the color dungeon, and it looks like in this version they're adding a sort of creation dungeon or thing. You saw Dampy with a sort of side quest area. I don't know if that's what you'd call it, but you piece together parts, rooms for the dungeon, and you create it and you beat it and you get items. That looks really cool. I wonder if there's any way to share those online. That would be pretty great. It was also given the release date of September 20th, which is coming up, and that is exciting. Square showed off Trials of Mana. I know that that had been heavily rumored, and people were really thinking it was coming. Overall, I love how much Nintendo and Square are working together, because I love Final Fantasy, I love Dragon Quest, I love JRPGs, so I'm excited about this. Hopefully they bring Chrono Trigger to Switch. Witcher 3 was announced for Switch. CD Projekt Red and Nintendo, they're like the 2 companies that the game industry needs right now. I love them both. Cyberpunk 2077 looks amazing, and it's cool that we're getting Witcher 3 on Switch. Fire Emblem 3 Houses, the voice acting seems really good. It's coming out on July 26th, which is good, because I'm kind of ready for it to come out so I could play it. I think Switch owners in general have just been waiting a long time for that. They announced Resident Evil 5 and 6 in a kind of really weird trailer where 2 people, friends I guess, go off to sort of haunted mansion. Because of the mansion and the sort of setting, I was thinking Resident Evil 7 would be coming to Switch, but we got 5 and 6, which is okay. I know that 6 is considered to be a pretty low point in the series, and 5 was a pretty decent game, but regardless, it's good that they're coming. No More Heroes 3 in 2020, and I know that in Travis Strikes Again, they break the fourth wall a lot, talking about No More Heroes 3, so I don't think that's a surprise. But that franchise has been so loyal to Nintendo ever since the Wii. Contra Rogue Corps is coming. That's a new Contra game, obviously. They also shadow dropped the Contra collection on the Switch eShop today, which if you want to play some hard games, then that's a good way to go. Daemon X Machina looks pretty stylized, the cell shading of everything. I don't really know what the game is all about other than giant mech robots, which is kind of cool, kind of Gundam. It's coming September 13th this year. Something that I don't think will excite many people, but I thought was so fascinating and exciting, is Panzer Dragoon's coming to Switch. That's an old Sega Saturn game that's kind of been stuck on that console for a long time. I know they had a couple of them. They had Panzer Dragoon Saga also, which was an RPG. And then they had Panzer Dragoon Orta on the original Xbox, which was really critically acclaimed. These games are sort of like Star Fox. They're on-rail shooters like that. And sort of like Sin and Punishment. They showed a tiny bit more of Pokemon Sword and Shield, mostly just a water gym with another trainer, which seems pretty cool, but not nearly as cool as that grass-type, really swole gym trainer from the first trailer. I love that guy. He cares about his fitness, and I respect that. And also, the Pokeball Plus is going to be featured in it, which is exciting. Not for the control aspects of it, but you could carry your Pokemon around in it, which is exciting, and I'm definitely going to do that because I'm not an animal, and it's going to be great. They showed a bit more of Astral Chain, which is the Platinum Games title that's going to be coming to Switch, and Platinum Games has an excellent track record. Nier Automata. Also, the narrator in that sounded like Morgan Freeman.
I've been waiting for you.
A game called Empire of Sin is coming to Switch, and it looks kind of like a Chicago 1920 top-down twin-stick shooter. Sort of Chicago 1920 Al Capone gangster thing, and they showed some scenes that you wouldn't really expect to see in a Nintendo Direct. It was kind of dark and gritty. I don't know, it doesn't look too interesting to me, but it might surprise me. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was showing, and they showed a few new heroes like Magneto, Ghost Rider, Elektra. That's exclusive to Switch, which kind of interests me just because it's an exclusive, and you'd never think that would be an exclusive to Switch. Cadence of Hyrule is coming out June 13th, which is just coming up right now. I think a lot of people are hoping this is going to be a lot more approachable than Crypt of the Necrodancer, which is notorious for being insanely hard and almost unbeatable on some skill levels. I think there's like a hard mode where you have to keep moving non-stop and it's apparently basically impossible. I think all signs point to it being a lot more approachable. And it's Zelda, so that's good. Then they showed Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, which is to be expected. It's going to be the 2020 Tokyo Games. I think they showed a part with Mario on a horse for equestrian, and it doesn't feel right. It should just be like a disproportionate Yoshi. I'd buy that. They showed Animal Crossing, which I think is kind of surprising actually to some people because we've heard nothing about it, and most people were assuming that it was going to be delayed, not coming out in 2019, and that turns out to be true. It's going to be March of next year, I believe. The format of this game is sort of more of an islands theme, and watching it, I was kind of disappointed. It looks like there's a lot of tents and camping. Maybe it brought back bad memories of Pocket Camp. That's not a fully realized Animal Crossing. But then later in the trailer, you're seen walking around all these houses, so maybe you could actually build your own house. I know that when you start out in New Leaf, you start out in a tent, but eventually, right away, you get a house, and then you start expanding the house, and it's pretty great. I love how they kind of played on the joke of, like, Tom Nook being, like, completely corrupt, and, like, that will just come to a total of only 49,000 bells. That's great. It's pretty great. One thing I do really appreciate about Nintendo as of late is they've been very transparent. Like with Metroid Prime 4, how they had to reschedule it. And they just came out in front of everyone and told them what was going on. They were transparent, saying, we're restarting production of this. We're giving it to Retro Studios. I really like that. They're doing that with Animal Crossing and saying, okay, we're sorry. We thought it was going to come out in 2019. It's going to be 2020. Please forgive us. I think that's cool. More game companies need to be transparent like Nintendo. Like I said, they're incredibly good for the industry. They showed a sort of a highlight reel of some third-party games coming out, and the one that stood out to me is Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, which is a PS3 exclusive up till this point. Is going to be on Switch. That's a great game, so that's cool. It's going to be there. I love JRPGs. Then they showed the Smash Bros. Trailer, which set the scene just like when King K. Rool got revealed, and it's very, very similar to it in a lot of ways. When DK, Diddy, and King K. Rool were sleeping in the house, and you saw the Golden Jiggy come by, you knew it was Banjo-Kazooie right away. And then they showed Duck Hunt Dog outside doing the exact same thing that King Dedede did, and it was great. And then Banjo-Kazooie came in and knocked him out, and he's in Smash now, which is cool. Nintendo and Microsoft have been playing so nice lately, and it's really cool that this is happening. It opens up a lot of possibilities, like maybe even Nintendo's gonna publish a Banjo-Kazooie game in the future. Like, Microsoft's being so generous, and I honestly think they're the ones that initiate all of this. They're like opening their arms to Nintendo, and it's really cool. I've been really liking Microsoft lately for these reasons. Finally, they sort of eased into one final trailer, and Nintendo essentially announced that they're working on the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and this was sort of the mic drop for the whole show. This is a huge deal. We knew that they were going to be working on a sequel, and we knew that they were going to be making it in the same style as Breath of the Wild. It's great that it's retaining the art style. In the trailer, Link and Zelda were together, and it would be really cool if that sort of mechanic stays and you play as Zelda and you play as Link. That would be amazing. The overall tone for the trailer was incredibly dark, and it was really cool. It was basically darker than we've ever seen a Zelda game. I'm down. It looks so good. For like release dates, they didn't offer anything about that. It's probably, I think 2020 is kind of early to expect. Regardless, it's going to be incredible, and what pressure that game is going to have on its shoulders. So overall, I really enjoyed the show. It's definitely one of the better shows for sure so far in E3, and I'm really excited for a lot of these games. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate it. I'm really excited for these games, and I'm sure you are too, and it's looking good.